Last March, when the pandemic struck, we were flooded with calls and emails from people who lost work and could not get their unemployment benefits because the state's online system is broken. Now, 1 year later, this audit shows the system still has problems. And we're still finding people who lost work last March are still waiting for benefits.
I'm just calling every week, calling. I mean, I've probably spent 200 hours on the phone with these people.
Kristen Hauser lost her job as a waitress last March and says her benefits are still held up due to a data error.
Oh, we'll submit another paperwork. And I'm like, how many times are you going to keep submitting this paperwork?
She was let go from a different job in 2014, and the state system wrongly shows she's still working there and is therefore ineligible for benefits.
I contacted them and they closed it out saying that I don't work for them anymore. But through the unemployment site, it's still showing that that job is active.
And in Florida, this is what you get.
Killed my credit. My driver's license and tag and insurance are now gone, so I can't really drive.
Now meet Scott Bedford.
None of them can give me any information. It's just, you got to sit and wait. And I'm like, I've waited.
He was laid off from his restaurant job last March and still can't get his benefits either.
Everything just avalanched and fell apart.
Now, since Florida pays among the stingiest benefits in the nation, he discovered he's not eligible for state benefits.
But then they said, we fill out the PUA and then you'll be okay.
But then he discovered he can't get his federal unemployment benefits either because the system has the wrong date on his claim.
It was dated as July 12th.
Then in December it changed, but to another wrong date.
Then my effective date changed to December 13th. And now I'm waiting for them to change it again back to March. It feels like I'm on a merry-go-round going round and round and round and getting nowhere.
And once again in Florida, this is what you get.
I became homeless because of the situation. I've lost my car because of the situation.
Those are just two of the many horror stories we're still hearing about Florida's broken Connect system, a Frankenstein of government failures brought to life years ago by former Governor, now Senator Rick Scott.
As you know, DEO put in a new system. They're working very diligently. They're going to get that done.
Former Governor Scott scaled back unemployment benefits to among the lowest in the nation and launched a $77 million system that people had to use to get them called Connect. And it repeatedly crashed and glitched and held up benefits from the day it launched. We aired dozens of reports on it with people sharing horror stories that may sound familiar and holding up thousands of unemployment checks for months.
It would come up errors, errors, errors.
I'm going to a church to beg for food to get us through.
Those problems continued. They just didn't get as much play while unemployment was low. Then the pandemic struck and the job market cratered.
Governor, help me!
And the mess known as Connect was fully revealed.
If people really understood how in tatters this thing was.
Governor DeSantis was caught off guard.
The DEO thought the website was good.
While people were flooding us with complaints,
the website has been crashing every minute.
The governor thought it was good.
I actually said go to the website because they told me that was the way to do it.
State auditors had flagged hundreds of issues with the unemployment system in 2019, but the governor said he didn't know.
It was never anything that reached my desk.
As he learned more, the governor said the system was designed with pointless roadblocks to frustrate people to the point that many give up and leave the money behind.
I'm at the end of my rope.
It was designed with all these different things to basically fail, I think.
Vanessa Brito says she comes across problems like that a lot.
Programming errors, right? And coding errors, and as well as data entry errors.
She's an activist who tries to get people through what the governor called those pointless roadblocks.
A year later, there are more glitches than there are fixes.
She said one of the biggest problems now is the system cuts off benefits because it thinks people went back to work when they really didn't.
They were asked if they had a return to work date. At the time, many companies and many businesses had said, okay, well, tentatively, you'd be coming back on this date.
But many of those dates got pushed back, and people accepted jobs that fell through, and it wound up costing them their benefits.
So people who thought they were going back to work have been stuck on a hold for weeks.
Another big problem is fraud. As we moved into 2021, the state noticed a significant jump in new claims, likely tied to scam artists claiming benefits in other people's names.
They're going on the dark web and they're purchasing stolen information that includes your name, your date of birth, your social security number. They might even purchase a copy of your license, depending on what the requirements are in each state. And then they use that stolen information to enter into the unemployment insurance system to get the benefit.
Well, the state responded by ramping up fraud detection, which is good for fighting the crooks, but not so good for people with legitimate claims who are getting tagged with misplaced fraud alerts.
Have gone through the ID.me verification process and seen their accounts unlocked. 2 days later are locked again.
State lawmakers are deciding how or if to fix this system the governor said was designed to fail, and it reportedly cost taxpayers $77 million. State Senator Joe Gruder's vice chair of governmental oversight tweeted someone should go to jail over that. But as it turns out, it didn't cost $77 million. We now know it cost more than that. This draft of an audit from the State Inspector General shows the costs from 2009 to 2015 add up to $81.6 million, complete with $13.4 million in cost overruns. That 95-page audit also flags known, fatal, and severe system defects, and includes a spreadsheet of defects from when it launched in 2013 to more than a dozen continuing issues now. The audit also revealed the system was never fully tested nor documented. Then, after the defects were fully revealed by the pandemic crashing the economy, the state spent millions of dollars more on upgrades to the broken system in the call centers, which sent people in circles based on multiple accounts and our own sources who worked in the call center.
Press option 5. Well, that's just going to lead right back to us. And then they'll say, well, that's the number I just dialed. Well, I'm sorry, you're going to have to keep trying and press option 5.
Then on January 22nd of this year, the state paid a consultant $247,000 to research the broken system and tell them what to do about it. The consultant told them their research shows that the broken system is broken and that they need to buy a new one. Which brings us to the new state plan to spend another $73 million on a new online system, plus other upgrades costing a total of $244 million through the next 5 years. And before we pay another $244 million, remember what this audit is telling us.
And despite the fact that the budget ballooned for this Connect system, there was not any type of management by political leaders to actually do something about it to make sure the system actually worked.
How do we know the $244 million do-over would work any better? That's why we'll investigate the proposals and the costs in the coming rounds of Money, Power, and Politics.